coming in a few minutes early here. I'll say hello to the audience. That's assuming there is an audience. Been pretty lucky, though. At least one or two people have shown up each week.
Yeah.
We started this. Has it been a year yet since we've... Must have been, right? When did we start doing these things? I can't imagine. I don't know. I have to look back and see when the first time we did a simulcast.
I'll take a look while we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one of my Apple Store shirts.
Oh, nice.
From London.
I'm wearing I'm wearing one from an obscure podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe
one of the original shirts. Back when we had a little store. I don't know if this one has anything on the back. Does it have anything on the back? I can't.
There's a giant spider on the back. Ah! Oh.
What does it say on the back?
Oh, it's some very tiny text. I cannot make that out.
All right. It says something. Probably has something to do with the shuffle. This is the was that the second
looking for
shuffle?
Something.
What are you reading now? Are you on such a delay that you're reading with the back of my shirt right now? It says iPod Shuffle here. It's got a little Apple logo here on the sleeve. Hello, Trina. Hello, Scarlett. We might have a guest here this morning. Waiting for our friend Michael to join us. All the way from Australia. You might remember Michael uploaded the Apple Identity Guide, that guide to the use of the Apple logo, the Australian version of it. I'd imagine it couldn't be that dissimilar from the American version.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With
So we're going to talk more about archiving that and other things. Turns out Michael's very prolific in uploading things. And that's something that I've not done. Well, we'll talk more about that. Let's see. We got a couple of minutes here.
All right. So it looks like our first episode that we streamed was episode 528, 11 months ago. So almost a year of the video streaming.
All right. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. Oh my God. We'll wait till the top of the hour here. Kick it off.
Hopefully I'm not doing any of the weird crackling or anything this time.
Oh, just as you spoke it.
So, really? Because I just hit record as a test.
Oh, well, I wasn't really paying attention before you mentioned it.
Okay, so I've
stop recording.
I've stopped recording. Is it something that's being brought in?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Although, to be honest, maybe the recording introduced it and kept it there.
We'll have to. We may have to play around with that a little bit more. Maybe I don't do the recording on my end.
Yeah.
If it's gonna.
Can you
pause that, or I got to figure out why.
Quit that application?
Yeah, audio hijack. I'm quitting it. All right, that is quit.
Keep talking. Hello.
All right, I'm going to keep talking. Yeah, so
it's still there.
See here.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to quit Chrome and just actually bring up the StreamYard again, just to see.
All right, you've got 20 seconds. Do it. John is gone. The audio problems. When will it end? The little crackling. We'll see if it comes back in that resolves it. He's actually using a fairly old Mac. Maybe not quite retro. Certainly end of life by Apple. I see him. There he is. Okay.
All right. Let's see if we have any difference.
Sounds
Testing,
good.
testing, testing. La la la
Sounds good.
la.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Ah.
There we go. All right. Let's
Okay.
count it down. In 3. Oh, well, let's do something else here. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 572 for May 23rd, 2021. Hey, how's it going, John?
All right. Going well. Going well.
I'm listening carefully to your voice. I
All
didn't
right.
hear
You're
any
listening
of the... Oh, nope, there it is.
Oh, rats.
Still they're still coming in there. Just so it had nothing to do with, well, the other thing to do a fresh reboot and
right.
Try to clean out all the gremlins. We can try that later. It's subtle, not there on everything you say, but whatever. All right. Well, hey, could be worse. We were talking before the show about how long we've been doing the YouTube channel. Well, I mean, doing the episodes in YouTube form.
Yeah.
Channel's been up for a while. We just haven't really used it. And we're not quite to a year. What was the date when we started?
I didn't.
It
just says 11 months ago. I didn't really look.
11 months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
We're coming up there on the anniversary. We are standing by. We have a guest who is maybe fighting technical problems of their own. So we'll see if that pans out. Michael Mulhern, longtime friend of the show. He's been on, I don't know, a handful of times, I think. A
handful of times, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Including once in person here in the Mac Attic.
Right.
Just before Kansas Fest.
The 3 of us
several years
were
ago.
there.
Yeah.
Speaking of festivals, I thought, wasn't there a festival that you were going to attend virtually? Wasn't WazFest? Did that happen?
I thought it was going to be a virtual event, but it turns out it was like an in-person event.
Really?
So if there was a virtual, I could not find the link for it, but I believe Michael Mulhern may have actually gone to that.
Okay.
one. So
well, if he gets in, he can tell us about it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. On today's show, perhaps we're going to talk about archiving your cool Mac stuff. If not, I think we have a backup plan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
hopefully he'll be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, we've got some eBay finds. We've got some new news, some old news. And I don't know. That sounds like enough for a show. Anything else we need to talk about? I do have this. Look at this. You know what this is? Dun, 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 dun,
Blue SCSI? No.
Yeah. Remember, I had misplaced my Blue SCSIs.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't
nice.
yours come in a blue envelope?
I really can't remember.
You would remember the blue envelope.
I would have remembered, but I really couldn't say for sure. I was too excited at the fact that they were in more than anything.
Oh, you just ripped open the package and threw it away.
Just chucked it.
Yeah. So,
like a kid
I mentioned
on
I had misplaced mine. Well, I have placed them. Here they are. So what are all these weird? Are they just little connector jumper things? There's like a little jumper blocks, and there's all kinds of little random parts in here that I don't know. I'll have to sort this all out. I thought I got mine fully. What would be the loose items if I got mine fully assembled? There are loose items in here.
Trying to remember what the loose items were. There are a couple of jumpers, but that's more for setting terminal settings than anything else.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what else was in mine.
What else is in here then? Here,
I really can't remember.
Oh, there's a couple of resistors.
See, I don't remember mine coming.
You don't have those?
Wait, did you get a kit? Did you get the partially assembled?
You know what? Maybe I did. I think I did. What the heck? I thought I ordered the assembled version. Uh-oh.
Oh, don't lose any of the bits.
It's too late. They fell down there. You know what? I guess Oh, you know what? You're right. It is partially. Why would I have done that?
You got the $35 one that had the SD card soldered and nothing else.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
So much for that. Back in the drawer you go. All right. Okay, well,
I see that Michael says that on Facebook it shows him as active.
Yeah, he's last message I got. He was rebooting. We'll check in with him.
Sure.
Why don't we just we'll do some eBay finds after this. Okay. Well, we'll see. See what's going. Oh, there he is.
Aha!
Aha!
Oh ho ho!
Aha!
There he is.
Perfect timing.
We just did the intro to the show and hyped your presence.
Michael is calling us from the void.
Yes, I've had to use an older iMac where it doesn't have the hardware acceleration required for Streamcast.
Okay.
So I think, can I just turn this off and go with the green screen in the background?
All right, I'm going to pull up some eBay auctions here. Let's see. Share screen.
Better, but a little bit boring.
What's a good green? It's a better green than Apple has their new green iMacs being. So.
Yeah. I would like the green on the back to actually be on the front.
Yes.
Actually, for most of the colors, I'd like the intensity of the back on the front.
Were you able to bring up the eBay links, Michael?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring them up on my other monitor.
Okay, great. So, I'm going to take the first one. You can take the second one. All right, ready when you are, James?
I'm ready. Let's go ahead and get going in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's take a look at the eBay finds from last week. Remember that pair of postcards? The one featuring what seems to be like a Mac SE entitled Polishing the Apple. These are postcards you would send in to purchase the full versions of this art. And, well, what happened to those? They are still available. Buy it now of $38. Then the Color Classic, this is the Color with a U Classic, was also available. That one had a $15,000 buy it now.
Oh, right, yeah.
It did take best offers, and this is a curious thing about this auction is I'm not sure there's a way because the auction just shows a line through the 15,000 and says best offer accepted.
Oh, but it doesn't give you what that offer was, huh?
No, that doesn't seem very fair. Yeah, so I don't know what that sold for. Hopefully, it wasn't anything near 15,000. And then the original Newton message pad with the original box and all the assorted items and a few accessories too. After 18 bids, that one sold for $143.50. Okay. Oh, that's right. We had a bonus one last week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this was one that I was tempted to bid on myself, and I had to restrain myself, folks, because I happened to pull up the auction.
Restraints were applied here too.
Yeah, I think it was within an hour left to go. I checked in on this one, and I had to review my podcasting ethics. Which was I wasn't going to try to outbid
on the RCR. I've actually gone into one of my co-hosts' auctions while they're talking about it because it was buy it now, and I bought it then.
I don't think that's a violation. I didn't want to go and outbid our own listeners. Should they be the ones bidding on this, that would.
Okay. So buy it now is okay, and we continue to talk about it, and then yep.
Yeah. Well, you didn't introduce the item, right? It was another person that.
Yes, it was Paul and his plethora of picks.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
There you go. See, it's fair game to you. See, John. He could have gone in.
I think I have in the past. I think just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you did a buy it now while we were talking about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, I think somebody got a deal on this one. After 2 bids, sold for $101.01.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that is fantastic.
Anybody in the chat grab this one? Goodbye if you did. Okay. This week, I thought it only appropriate that we have at least one from Down Under for Michael to share with us. Go for it, Michael. What do you think about this?
Well, the Apple Macintosh Color Classic. It's not one that's on my list, but of machines that I must have. But it's,
and why is that? Why no fondness for the Color Classic?
I don't know. It's just it hasn't really appealed to me. It's the look, I think, somewhat more exaggerated in this picture, but it just didn't look Mac-ish.
I hear you because you're so used to the original, the classic Macs that preceded this.
Yeah,
and this looked like, you're right, like some weird deformed version.
I'm not the world's biggest Mac addict, but I would say that my appeal for the Macintoshes basically ends with the classic toasters, and then restarts with the second generation iBooks and the G4 iMac. Everything in between is dead to me.
Well, I think that's everything in between. That's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah, kind of beigey, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a good cleaner upper. If you're a little bit handy, it'd be a good one to start with. And look, the price, $50 Australian. That's pretty good by Australian standards. I don't know what they're giving these away. I believe that if you go and buy a Newton, they give you 2 of these free, don't they?
Well, this one's not working though, so I'm not sure that is a great value. And you're right, it is. You said fixer upper. It's a little. It's been used.
Yeah, there's something a little bit askew there in the drive slot. The caddy seems to be reorienting itself, probably because you brought up the image and it's had to quickly rotate for the northern hemisphere, and it's just flipped it.
So I think the saddest thing on this, and you see this with a lot of stuff that was in schools, is you see the number etched into the back. Yeah,
well,
that's
at
not
least
something
it's in
that's
the
just
back.
Gonna buff out. That is true.
Oh yeah,
that is very true.
Yeah, a little bit of Bondo, and then hit it with a little bit of sand just to fix it up. No.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's
it
seen a hard life.
Yes. Ethics aside, it shan't be joining us in the 8-bit bunker. Which, sorry folks, I'm not down in the bunker. It's 2300 here in Sydney, and I just didn't feel like traipsing. I don't have no internal access to the bunker, so it's a case of going outside into the cold, wet grass and down and across and back inside, firing up the furnace down in the bunker. But, so today I'm just sitting in the back of the garage. So trust me, the green screen is much preferable to the assorted boxes that are behind it, because none of them are computer related. It's back of the garage is storage.
Well, this one ends a week from today.
Yeah,
and definitely a fixer upper.
Yeah.
not a showroom quality.
Yeah, there's one bid on it, and I suspect that's the winning bid.
Oh yeah, that's true. I bet that's what's going to take it. Well, all right. Well, we'll find out next week. So I think, John, you got the next one.
Yeah. Next up, we have an Inside Macintosh, original 1985 developer's manual, vintage Apple phone book. I wish that they showed a little bit more of the internal content of this as opposed to just the one page. Fortunately, somebody we know has one and can tell us, hey, James, what the heck is inside this thing? I'm assuming that it's not a phone book and they're just using that because it's as thick as a phone book.
Yeah, it's definitely phone book quality. So when Macintosh came out, there was this idea of publishing Inside Macintosh, right? A whole compendium, a multi-volume set of everything you need to know to develop for Macintosh, hardware, software, everything. But they released this preview version, so it says promotional edition, right, in advance before the full set. And so they sent this out, and it says in it, the first page, a letter from the Macintosh Developers Group dated 15 March 1985. After many months of work, the Macintosh Division's user educational group has completed the manuscript for Inside Macintosh. We've finalized production arrangements with a major publisher, and you can expect to see the final edition at better bookstores everywhere by late summer 85. However, we can't wait that long and don't expect you to either. We've therefore produced this special promotional edition to handle the demand for Inside Macintosh until the final edition becomes available. The contents are preliminary, subject to change, There you go. So, yeah.
So this professional publishing house obviously also does the U.S. states white pages directories.
Yeah, it does definitely look like that. Very thin, very it's probably getting kind of brittle paper at this point.
Yeah. That would be a challenge to scan.
Yeah, I was gonna wonder. Yeah, the challenge because
we're not even going to talk about getting the pages through, let alone. So like, James, can I borrow your copy and slice the spine off?
Yeah, I wonder if this has been archived.
I'm looking right now.
To see either this promotional or the final version. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting inside information, as the title would suggest, about how the Macintosh works at a very low level.
So it actually looks like they may have this over at Macintosh Garden.
Wow.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like the hard or soft copy in this case.
Right.
Yeah. And what do they want for it?
And it's
what they want is hang on a second. I've got to bring the page back up. Sorry, guys.
$75 is the
$75. Okay, which is pretty cool. Good.
Or you can make an offer. Ooh. It ships from Boise, Idaho. So yeah, nice. And this one looks in fantastic shape. Given that it's not hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
It's got nice square corners. Looks really sharp. So that great item to have on hand. Mm-hmm.
In the picture, it looks like there's a little discolored block right above promotional edition. Is that where a sticker was peeled off? Does yours have that, or is there a graphic on there and I can't quite make it out?
No, it was a sticker that's probably peeled off. Mine doesn't have one in that corner, but it does have one up here. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm tempted because the global shipping on this one is actually only $30 US, which is phenomenally reasonable.
Well, go for it. Buy it.
You're free
just logging into my eBay account on this new machine so I can hit add to watch list.
Yeah, I think we can.
All right.
All right.
What's the last one, James?
The last one is the original first gen iPhone sales training workbook from AT&T dated 2007. Here's one of those just random odd things that obviously weren't available to the public. Somebody would have to work at an AT&T retail store, received one of these, and just kept it around just for that one day to resell it on eBay. It's got a picture on the front of a hand holding the original iPhone that we all remember.
Looks so tiny, compared to.
I kind of miss that original size. I've just recently acquired a secondhand SE2, and it's the same physical size as the 8, but with the innards of a 10 and 11, I think, or a 12. It's got the A12, so whatever A12 processor, whatever generation that is. Not that I'm overly worried, but yeah.
There on the right inside the cover, first line say iPhone combines 3 amazing products: a revolutionary mobile phone, a widescreen iPod, I should say, with touch controls, and a breakthrough internet communications device. Just exactly the same words that Steve Jobs used when he announced iPhone to the world. And so, walks you through all the feature. Of course, you can see Google Maps is listed, but of course it wasn't its own app. You had to access it through the browser.
So it's kind of like the iPhone equivalent to when they first brought out the Macintosh, and they had to basically show you everything to do, like how to push a mouse around the desk and click.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. You'd have to. There's probably a page in there where they say, okay, you use your finger.
Don't use your finger to press the home. To press the home button. To all the young kids out there, remember what the home button was back before all the phones went buttonless?
Well, this is a nice little time capsule here of the way we viewed smartphones specifically, in 2007, available for a starting bid of $90, or you could make an offer right now. This ships from Bozeman, Montana.
$55.
Cool little item. That's your offer?
Well, it's going to end. I don't know if I'm going to splash out $90, and let's see, may not ship to Australia. So basically, I'm going to have to. I'd have to ship it to my trans-shipping address and consolidate it with. We just happen to have about half a dozen items sitting in my warehouse address at the moment. So.
Oh
wow. Well, this one ends in 9 days, so next week we won't see the end of it, but we'll at least check on the status. All right.
Definitely an interesting piece of history, that one.
Let's move to the next segment, and while we're talking with Michael, let me reconfigure here. I'm going to share, just for visual interest, I'm going to share your library of stuff that you've uploaded. Is that all right?
People are going to see this weird and strange stuff that lives in the bunker, and I'm pushing up to the Internet Archive. I've done a few since we last chatted. Last week. So,
wow, yeah.
Yeah, I've found some very interesting medical magazines. So the Practice Computing has absolutely nothing to do with learning or something. It's to do with a medical practice. So it's a industry magazine by ICI Australia. So if you're a hair doctor, you could look at this magazine to see what kind of information and bits and pieces is in it. But so the cassette there is the audio tracks of the Heathkit Zenith novice radio license training materials, I should say. So I've got another item in there, which is all the physical scans of the coursework. So as Earl said, the novice license was withdrawn about 20 years ago. So it's not as if you could really use it to go for it. But it's an interesting piece of, I think that one's from 1977. So audio tapes and things.
Let's go ahead and introduce the segment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, John.
I thought we had, but okay.
No.
We're going to start recording the audio portion, and then we want to kind of talk to you about your scanning techniques and what it takes to get something up there. How do you?
Oh, okay. What it takes is just a smidgen of madness.
Yeah. All right.
Which I have large amounts.
Go ahead, James.
All right. Interesting enough, I'm listening to the crackling, and it's funny. Microphone,
but
all the way
now
across
you don't know who the
Do you hear
crackling
it?
is from.
No. I hear it. It's definitely from John. But you hear it too, right? Right, Michael? From John's voice on his end?
No. Just the deep baritone must be masking any other audio maleffects.
Good. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. We welcome Michael Mulhern back to the show. It's been a few since you've been on the show. Maybe it was the last time was when we were all together.
Is Derek in the audience? He could tell us when I was last on.
I don't think he's there. At least he hasn't piped in yet.
Shocking.
It might have been when the three of us were together.
Yes, the last time was when the three of us were together physically. No. John and I were in the abode there, and
I was there too.
Remote.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
that's right. There. Yeah, all three of us. Yeah, we were across the back. Yeah,
didn't make much of an impact, but I was there. Anyway, he returns this week because last week we invoked his name because he was a contributor to an item we discussed, the Apple Identity Guide, that very slick, comprehensive guide to making sure that you use the Apple logo properly. Where did you come across that?
Would you believe it was just one of those random eBay items which just comes across? I let it go a few times. I thought it was a little bit on the pricey side.
Do you remember what you paid for it?
Oh, yes, I remember what I paid for it. Probably doesn't work out to too much in American dollars, but it was 250 Australian dollars.
That's a lot to me. That's nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, that's a fair. So, well, thank you then, because that's a public service to.
It was definitely something I wanted to have up there. I couldn't find it anywhere. But I knew that by purchasing it, scanning it, and uploading it to the Internet Archive, at least half a dozen others would pop up somewhere on the internet as being already done. But there's the breaks. Sometimes you find something which just looks so unique, and you go, "Oh, that can't be up on the Internet Archive or a low quality scan somewhere." So without checking, you hit buy it now, or you load up Gixxon for a snipe, and then you get it. I won't say it buyer's regret, but buyer's remorse. But you go, "Oh, it's already there." Okay.
Well, you got it.
I got it. I caught it. I scanned it.
And maybe this is part of the process. You could walk us through about
what the buyer's remorse part of scanning.
No, the part about the potential legal snafus of taking something.
Well, I haven't received a takedown order from Apple yet. So if you were to accidentally show it here on the show, and anyone is interested, I'd say go in there now and back up those PDFs to your hard drive. Your SSD. But also, don't miss the fact that I've actually got an ISO of the CD that came with it that's in there. Now, I see a smirk/smile on John there, so I'm assuming he's already backed up the ISO onto a local backup device. So, John, refresh me. What was in the ISO? Lots of fonts and images and things, I presume?
Vector versions of the logos. I haven't delved too deep into it yet, but I do have the ISO downloaded. Yes. Yep.
So it's just coming up. I can see it in the lower right corner at the moment. The Apple logo identity guide.
There it is.
Yeah, right beside Dick Smith's catalog.
There it is.
Yeah.
So you have been very prolific.
I started back in September last year with the great idea of finding an item in my library or purchasing it and getting an upload a day. I am sorry, I confess I have failed. I have not got an item a day up there. I think I'm currently at about 250 something. So pretty good show, but it is a esoteric collection. It's not all retro computer stuff. So if anyone here is not really interested in retro computing, there is other stuff for you. And what the hell are you doing here? But over there on the right, there's all your download options. So just click on PDF. It'll show you all the 3 PDFs that are there. For this one, I definitely wanted to scan the folder and then all of the physical CD inserts, because I like that on the physical CD, on the back of it, it has the secret source. So it has the 6 Pantone colors, and then also the CMYK for 4-color process printing. So those are not the Pantone CMYK values, as John probably recognized straight away. He probably flipped over the back of the CD and went, "Those aren't the CMYK values for those Pantone colors."
Well, I definitely do deal more in just the CMYK values than I do in actual Pantone colors.
Yeah, so these are the ones at Apple Australia. Now, everyone must realize this is an Apple Australia publication. So that was the other reason I went for it, because having now chatted with a few people in the industry, this is the sort of thing that went out to dealers or people who had something to do with Apple signage. And one of them remembers a box of them. And as they said, I should have grabbed 1 or 2 back in the day. And I said, yes, and I would have been quite happy to borrow it from you. But, so...
And just to verify, the Apple Garmin fonts are on that ISO. So
excellent.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Well, actually, there's a good reason for people to rush and push up the number of views on this item of mine.
Yes. And I'll go ahead and pop the link directly to it from the archive.
Yep.
So when you upload something, are these other? Do you have to do all the other formats? Do you have to do those independently?
No.
What part of the system does it automatically?
Okay, well, all I actually uploaded for this are the PDFs, because they actually prefer you to set to upload a zip of the individual pages in TIFF.
Oh,
but as I'm scanning at 600 DPI, and we have a quaint little broadband system here called the NBN. And the plan that I've got available is, I can't get onto that. And so I'm using a good old fashioned ADSL account, because out here in semi-rural land, their idea of broadband is sticking a tower in a park a couple of kilometers away and calling it fixed wireless. Unfortunately, the clever insert expletive in the planning department sighted the tower so that I don't actually have proper line of sight to it. So the guy was on my roof with the antenna, raising it up as high as he could, and he said, "I've got to the worst possible band before it's actually registers as 0, and therefore we're not going to install it for you." I was happy because the legislation basically says that if someone can't connect to the NBN, which is going to be used for your phone and your internet, that they can't take away the sub-exchange. So I'm that holdout. I'm the Luddite who is on ADSL, keeping that sub-exchange here alive so that other people can use it. And by the way, fixed Wi-Fi is 25 megabits. That's what they think broadband is for country people here in Australia.
So anyway,
the city folk aren't much better off. They can get a whole 100 megabits.
Wow.
Yeah, we were told officially by the NBN that we're not rolling out gigabit because no one would need it. No one would want it. And I cried and said, me. They
said that about computers too, right? Why would anyone want a computer?
And probably something about 640K would be enough as well. But
well, anyway, so you
so I uploaded the PDFs. I uploaded the ISO as a zip. And then if you were to go and expand and look at all files, it basically expands out. So if I was to upload TIFF files, which I've done for some of my box games, I uploaded those, the TIFFs. It made thumbnails available. It did the JPEG conversions. The good thing about the Internet Archive, you push up your pages, be it a bundle of TIFFs or a PDF, the system will do the OCRing. So, so all of the OCR has been done here. So nice. I used to do OCRing with my Adobe Acrobat. I don't bother now because anything interesting I'm going to push up to the Internet Archive, be it for the land care group that I'm in. Land care is as it sounds. So it's an organization for people to look after the land. I'm on acreage. I have, you would call it forest. We call it bush. That is untouched. It has creatures that creepeth and eateth the tourists in there. So I put all my stuff up in there. So
well, that's cool.
Yeah, they're Grow Me Instead. That's a publication which I rescued and I've uploaded. And you've dropped out again, haven't you?
Yeah. So there's
just going for a stroll. Okay,
just
stop there.
Look across all the things
let's just stop there with the scrolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, the middle row with the magazine with the old computer on it, the green banner.
Yeah.
That's actually Chinese. So
we noticed you have a ton of Chinese publications in there. Where did you run across those?
I'm currently working with Wyatt Wong. He's a member of the Apple II enthusiast group, and got in contact with him because it's a roundabout. I've got a Chinese Apple clone, a Keck I computer, Chinese education computer Model I. And he's sourcing me at the moment. He's got an order in for 20 books, sort of like magazines, a bit like the pulp fiction type thing. So the Asimov magazines and things like that, consider that quality publication as a computer manual. So I'll be getting 20 of those and some adapters and things. But again, the OCR works on this. So
oh, wow.
The PDF gets uploaded, and instead of choosing English as the language, I use the Dropbox and I choose Chinese. So if you were to open up the PDF with text, it will have OCR'd the simplified Chinese characters. You can highlight and copy those, go over to Google Translate and pop that in. So you'd have Chinese on the inside, and then you'd have, in my case, English, your case, American on the translate side. And nice. You will get, in some cases, quite a interesting in air quotes translation. I love translating Chinese stuff because of the manner of the literary style is very different from English.
That'd be one cool upgrade in the future if Archive would throw the translate automatically. Yeah, so you didn't have to take those extra copy and paste steps. But so a whole bunch of stuff. We're currently
in my Chinese section there. So Wyatt and his friends have got a whole pile of PDFs, and some of them are literally just a magazine or a book opened up, put on a flatbed scanner, and then an image taken of the left and the right pages.
Yeah.
So I've taken that PDF and broken it down to the individual pages and then used my workflow to actually turn that into single page images and tidy it up. So we can sort of tangent into the process and things, but
I see some things there might be able to help John in his quest to get his quick
I've already communicated with the erstwhile John, and these aren't scans of mine for the quick take, but I found that the quick takes, I've got quite a few quick take cameras. I've got maybe half a dozen of the 200s. I've got a pair of 100s and a pair of 150s. I'm still looking for a 100 plus. So if anyone out there has a 100 plus, I'd be interested in acquiring.
Wait, what is the 100 plus? I don't even
the 100 plus. Okay, I'm assuming that every Apple aficionado here is totally au fait with the quick take camera range. The 100 came out first. And then the 150 came out. Now, what Apple offered was a hardware upgrade for the 100 owners, where they basically did a motherboard transplant, and gave you a snazzy sticker to put on the back over the top of the QuickTime 100 to say QuickTime 100 Plus.
Oh, wow. See, I learned something.
It's a bit like a Stealth GS. So you could buy a GS board to go into your 2E case. Nowhere near as practical or as useful, especially these days. But yeah, it allowed you to put have more scans and things. Stop, halt. Okay, the red one there, the book. Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah, that is an Australian publication. Or was it no, this is a US one, this one. Distributed by Imagineering here in Australia. So this is actually, boys and girls, what we used to use before we had the internet. So it's a book of software that you could actually buy. So I went to scan this one, and I was going to put it on my flatbed scanner one at a time and move through. And the glue basically fell apart. So it didn't just split. The glue crumbled. I actually had to dust down and vacuum the floor. I had so much glue gunk there. But you've got piles of software. You've got great descriptions of it. A lot of it has been lifted from magazines where the software's been released. But the thing with this here is this looks like nice black text on a nice crisp white background. In the actual scan that I did, that is the way that non-archival paper goes from 1982. John, what color would 1982 non-archival paper be? You don't have to use Pantone colors.
I was going to say it would look like a sepia tone picture at that point.
Yeah. So basically what I do is I scan in color or grayscale, and depending on which gives me the best result. And then, as anyone could do in Photoshop, you could go in and change the mode, tweak the bits and pieces, push buttons, and make it black on white. And I'm sure John's done that many a time.
Yeah,
try doing that for a couple of hundred pages, and you get tired at about page 3.
Have you made an action or a droplet so you could just drag a whole folder on there?
No, I've gone and I've given the royal finger, the digitus imputus to Photoshop, and I use Scantailor. So when we can sort of move over to there, and Scantailor allows you to reorient the pages. So let's talk about Michael's process, which I'm documenting because there's some people that want to use it because they see it as a quick way of doing it. Step one, scan it. Now, I'm currently just using a Canon Liddy 100 scanner.
Okay.
The reason I'm using that is that it's a USB connected and powered over the same cable. And the reason behind that is that I go to quite a lot of meetups where I can, and it means that I can take a laptop and my scanner, and I don't have to worry about power.
Yeah, I've got a 210, and they're fantastic. Yeah.
So with a fully charged laptop, and then only plugging in the laptop if I need to, I can do flatbed scanning of A4 and letter-sized objects. So for those of you who don't use A4, I don't know why you're not, but if I say A4, just automatically take the same thing for letter. Now, you could turn the page back and forth to get it the right orientation, but that's extra effort that slows you down. So what I do is I scan the front. Funny about that. It's a good place to start. Then I open it up, and I then just move on to the next side. And then I just keep doing that. So when you look at it, you'll end up with half your pages up the right way and half your pages upside down. Now, when I get into my processing side, the first step in Scantailor Advanced is Orient. So I can click on one of the upside down images, do a rotate, and then say, apply this to all other this page and all other after pages. So you're alternating it, and then it will flip all of those pages around. You suddenly now have a batch run on reorienting everything. But the good thing is it only does it to the thumbnail of the page at the moment. It doesn't do the whole lot until you go to the output step. Then the next step is deskew. So as long as I get the page mostly horizontal to the scan direction, so I'm not worried about being 10 degrees out. Well, 10 degrees would be a bad day for me. I've probably been drinking. So most of my pages are going to be, say, between 3-5 degrees out in either direction. So I can just go through to automatic deskew, and it will go through, and again, it'll apply that to the batch rules. It'll straighten out the thumbnail image. And John's got, I should say James, give the credit where credit's due. Scantailor is available for all 3 major platforms. So you can get the source and compile it for your Macintosh. You can download it for Linux, and for those handful of people using Windows, you can actually download it as a exe and run that. So I have all 3. So I have my laptop runs Linux. My desktops mostly are Macs, in the case here, I'm talking to you from a 2015 iMac, and I'm sitting beside a equivalent iMac, but it's an iHack. Okay, so then you can go to split pages. Now this is where if you've got your open book on the scanner, and it's automatically said blue is on the left, red is on the right. And if it doesn't get it right, you can actually just move the bar in the middle to do it, or if it's at an angle, you can move either the top or bottom point, and it will basically then go through the split process and turn those pages into individual pages. So that's what I've done for one of the magazines that one of Wyatt's friends had scanned. It also, I think he'd used he just set it on the scanner. There was a lot of light getting into the scan as well, so it was a lot very grey. Just excuse me. Don't worry, it's not the plague. It's just me talking. So I was able to use the output steps to actually fix that up and get rid of all of that contrasting grey on the page. And that magazine is actually one of the ones there that I've done, and it's now quite readable, provided you can read Chinese.
So how long would it take? So that, like, say that catalog of Apple II software, it was 400 pages.
Okay, this is where I cheat. I actually have I didn't do that one on the flatbed scanner. I was going to, but the glue broke, literally. As I said, the spine didn't just split, it just crumbled. So I basically gently nudged the book a few more times and released it from the dry glue. And then I ran it through one of my document scanners. So I've got
fantastic. I was going to ask if you had a document
my favorite little
scanner.
Fujitsu scanner does A4 letter, and it's duplex. So I just split the book up into 3 bundles because it's 400 pages. That's quite a lot of paper, and the ADF couldn't handle that amount of paper in one go. The poor little thing would choke. And I just ran that through. I've also got another Fujitsu document feed scanner that can actually take up to sheets of A3. And that's going to be a good one for magazines that are stapled. I can actually pull the staples out and then run those pages through. But there will be imposition on those pages. So, John, for the people at home, please explain imposition.
Well, I'm assuming you mean when you get bleed over of the image from the other side of the page?
No. We've got a 16-page booklet and it's folded and stapled.
Oh, right.
That's imposition, or am I getting it wrong?
Right. Yeah. No. Where you get the weird. It's like
1/16.
If you pull the sheet out, you've got.
You've got 1 and 16 on the back, and you've got 2 and 3 on the inside, and it just keeps going through strange. Yeah. So if I was to then page split that into individual letter size pages, they're going to be strange. So I'm currently writing a script that you tell it where the page number is in the image, and then it will use it'll take that TIFF image, it'll do a TIFF crop for that area, then pass that cropped TIFF fragment into Tesseract OCR, which will then give you back the text. Hopefully it'll say 1 and 16, and that will be the page number. And then the script will then rename the file so that it has that page number in it. And then I can actually resequence it that way.
Well, so that's amazing how much stuff has been developed for, kind of
that one.
this.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one I'm having to do myself. So finding, I would love to slip it into my pipeline of programming at the office, but I don't think I could actually get away with it.
Well,
the software repository might give me away.
You say you're kind of writing up details of this when you get it written
so
up.
When I do, I'll be putting it out there. Yeah, because
a
few people have been wanting to do that. But so I convert, as I said, I've got everything as 600 DPI TIFFs. So if there's a page in any of the stuff there, and someone says, "Hey, could I have the original page?" So that'll be the 8-bit grey or 16-bit grey or 24-bit color. It sits there as a 600 DPI TIFF, taking up not inconsiderate, quite a big chunk of space on my main server. But the main server is my iHack Pro, and it's got I think I just upgraded it to RAID 5 with 12 terabytes in it, so that should keep me okay for the next week or two.
Oh, there you go.
Well, hey,
thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for the service you're doing. I mean, gosh, there's so many.
No, don't say please. No. Thank you for your service. So people will start thinking that I'm actually
not your service, the service, the service you're doing to us, because we certainly all enjoy the fruits of effort.
So to anyone out there that thinks they've got something interesting in their collection and they don't want to scan it, get in contact with James or John or myself. I'm sure we could arrange for it to be picked up and scanned. If you don't want it, I'm happy to keep it. So anyone in Australia at the moment, I get stuff in the mail from people who find something interesting.
Awesome.
As well as on eBay. But cool. Contact us. I'm sure we can find someone local who can scan it for you, get it up on Internet Archive, and we can all have lots of fun.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, let's do some news.
We'll do some news. Let's see.
I'm not driving this. I'm not hosting this one. I'm host. I do that on the other show, which I've got to get back into. I've been out of RCR for about 12 months. So 2020 was a bit of a write-off for me. I've been a sick boy the last 12 months, and not from the plague that we shall not name.
All right, I got my news links up and ready,
All
James.
Right, let's go ahead in 3, 2, 1. Well, Apple made some music news. They didn't have a big event or anything like that. Just kind of slipped out the press release to talk about spatial audio with Dolby Atmos coming with lossless audio to their entire category in Apple Music. Kind of a big announcement. There's this always been this idea that downloadable, streamable music was of substandard quality because of the necessary compression that was needed, because of our poor networks. Maybe not as poor as what Michael has to deal with every day, but
some music is just of poor quality because of the way it was written.
That's true too. Yeah, maybe you don't want the full bits of it, because it might filter out some of the nonsense. But they've done that, so that's quite a shot at the other services that are already offering this, and keeps Apple Music in the news again as being probably the most viable source. Now with the Dolby Atmos, so, of course, not everything's going to be encoded with that.
So guys, do you use Apple Music or do you have your own library?
I have been in
just my own stuff, and
You do what, John?
I don't use Apple Music. I don't.
Same here. I have everything on the CD, and then my wife and I had a ripping party one Easter, and
I do a combination.
It went in one side of the desk, and several machines were ripping the CDs, and Pyle went down the other side and trawled the internet for the album art and put my own library together. So that way. But,
I ripped my entire CD collection a number of years ago.
All 6 CDs.
Hundreds of them. And yeah, you know how long that can take. And then of course I uploaded it to a lower bit rate than it was probably what you would a standard today. So it needs to be redone, which I haven't gotten around to doing it. So I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's move on to the next one. More Apple news. This one, they have this Why Mac section on their webpage, which they used to have it up there. And John and I used to use this as sort of the outline.
I counter with why not?
Yeah, we used to use this as an outline for the class we would give at the local school here, and trying to talk to people about switching over to Macintosh. So I've got a new version of this. So I think the question mark is missing from Why Mac, but easy to learn, astounding, powerful.
Yes, I've got to resist getting a red marker pen and correcting that on my screen. It would not be a good idea.
Are you able to order the new colorful iMacs in Australia?
Yes.
Am
I going to order one?
No.
Let's see. Let's see. Remember properly. The bottom of the range, not many ports to plug into. Blah blah blah. That's $18.99 Australian dollars, and then all the bits that actually make it a useful computer, I think that comes in at $22.99. So, yeah, I'm tempted to get the silver one so that I can whack one of my spare vinyl 6-color Apple logos onto the front chin.
There you go. There you go. It's begging for it.
Yeah, I believe, James, you were commenting at one stage that you were going to get all 6 colors and the aluminium one, so that purely for completeness.
Maybe in jest. Well, not going to rule that out. I mean, but it'd be a while from now when you can get those for $30
You're not
a
going
pop.
to buy them new, so that you can have the boxes and all of the bits and pieces that come with it. Not that much comes in the box. I saw an opening of the box for it, and that is thin.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Over on
we used to joke
Mac,
that the iMac, you could cut yourself on the edge. This one, you basically would lose it under a pile of paper.
On Cult of Mac, the story Mac Pause Apple Museum will feature 323 rare pieces of tech history. So this is in the Ukraine, and they're making their own Macintosh museum. Because they don't have one.
As you do.
Yeah, kind of as we've all done. But I presume this will be viewable to the public at some place. It's in Kiev, Ukraine. They've got a bunch of stuff. They even got a bunch of stuff from, remember that the TechServe place in New York City, the longtime Apple repair place that had a kind of a mini museum.
Serious acquisitions.
Well, and they put their stuff up for sale, and so the owners here of the MacPaw Apple Museum picked up some of those items, and I guess their big item is an original. Well, it's a Macintosh Plus signed by Wozniak, right? Kind of an odd item for him to sign.
Not really.
Not really.
He'll sign anything.
Anything that sort of is stationary for a second in front of Woz will get signed. Oh, you didn't want that signed? I'm sorry.
Here's your baby back.
He's a lovely guy that way.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess they're planning on opening at the end of the year. So if you find yourself in the Ukraine,
so if I'm in Kiev and I'm at a loose end,
there you go.
I'm eating all the chicken.
Museum. All right, we're going to close out the episode. So we'll. Oh, I was going to mention this too. Well, we'll do that in the outro. We'll do that in the outro. So let's go ahead and do the outro. All right. 3, 2, 1. One thing I forgot to mention in the news was the new availability of the Big Mess of Wires Wombat. What is a wombat, Michael?
What? Yeah, wombat.
Yes,
it's a short, stocky, furry bulldozer. Literally a bulldozer.
Oh yeah.
Do you have wombats will travel their path. Woe be anyone who leaves something in their path. They are not renowned for going around things. So if you were to make a fence across a wombat path, you will find the fence has wombat-sized hole or a tunnel dug underneath it to get through. So people would complain about how much their dog digs up their backyard. The wombat basically says, "Here, hold my beer."
So why do you think they chose to name this 80B to USB converter after the wombat?
Because Stephen called his other device the floppy emu, which is actually he was wanting to say emu. So after me, emu, not emu.
I'm pretty sure I pronounce it floppy emu.
Yeah,
I do too. But it was
it's a floppy. Everybody else,
it's a floppy emulator, and he thought emu was emu.
So it's in keeping with the theme.
Yeah,
got it.
So he's keeping with the theme. I'm just waiting for the drop bear to come.
Well, I think when we return, we're going to
in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks, we're going to take next week off. We've got a holiday here in the States, Memorial Day, and so we'll be off next week. The week after, we'll return and dig into the Wombat.
Yes.
The 80B USB version.
Hardware.
Yep. And talk more about that. And until then, any final words, Michael? Any projects you want to plug?
Just the Australian Computer Museum Society, of which I'm part of. We had our first open day weekend before last. So there's been trials and tribulations with the ACMS for decades now, but there's a whole new blood in the committee. We actually have premises with getting displays and everything. We've got workshop areas that we're setting up, so we'll be think of it as a maker space for retro computers, as well as exhibit space. And we're trying to concentrate on computer items of Australian computer history. So it had been a bit of I've got some old computers, I'll just leave them with the ACMS. So we're trying to keep it with the sort of that's a lovely Apple IIe, TRS-80, Amiga, whatever, but what's it got to do with Australia? So we're trying to get the backstory. It was used for Australia's unknown intercontinental ballistic missile project. We're not supposed to mention the ICBM project here in Australia, but just say there was. So it was the Apple II that controlled the missile silo just outside Canberra. That make a nice exhibit. Or it was a piece of Australian hardware back in the early days when everyone was making their own. So, it was designed by an Australian. So that would be things like the Micro-B, which was a Z80 system developed and built in Australia for the education and home market. So, we got more interest in that than the other run-of-the-mill stuff. But anything that's got an Australian bent. And I'm currently doing, for the ACMS, some in-house magazines for digital. So it's a Digitalk magazine. So there's 3 Digitalk magazines already in my collection in the Internet Archive. And I've got several folders full of others to do. So at the moment, I've got maybe about just call it 2 dozen scanned. And I'm now just packaging them up and throwing them up there. So that's my current project, is to get all of Digitalk from Digital Australia digitized. So digital.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you're keeping busy. John, any final words?
No, that's it. I'm looking forward to talking about the Wombat in a few weeks. And yes.
We'll be back then. Until that time, it's not old.
It's retro.
Compute.
I think I cut that off for the audio podcast.
Oh, we even lined it up. It was
well, it was lined up to you. It came in at different times over here.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
You're going to blame it on the time zone. Yeah.
Look, it's hard to sync everything up over thousands of miles.
Yeah, it's just after. And somehow Siri turned on.
That's so funny.
She doesn't understand. So I think that was directed to James.
It is now after midnight for you, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. It's getting late.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us, Michael.
Thank you. For coming in so late for you. And
next time I'll try and use a more up-to-date computer that actually has a supported GPU for.
Yeah, you need to
for a virtual
get a setup so you can do your get your stuff, your 8-bit.
Yeah. So you can take a picture of your 8-bit bunker and use that as a background in your.
Well, that was the idea. I had a selection, but the one I was going to use was actually snow gums because it's winter here. So I got this lovely picture of some big snow gums, which are gums that grow in the eucalyptus trees that grow in the snowline area of our Alps. So that was going to be there. I had the big fluffy beanie and everything to sort of sit there and I'm outside doing the broadcast. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, with my tea.
All right. Well, stay warm.
Okay.
We'll see.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.